I do remember when I was a kid and I was doing this cybersex shit that a lot of times they'd be like, go and get like something. And you're like, I don't have that. Like, I don't have nipple clamps. I don't have any of that stuff. I don't have a whip. Why would I have that? I'm 13. I mean, obviously,
but so nowadays, there is sexy texting. I do like to have fiery texts, and also it's kind of like crypto mining, where if you send enough of them, you'll get like a boob picture or something. You have to like work away at it, but now you can get rewarded in a faster way than like that. She was doing some like MS DOS like programming to do that sex session.
Yeah.
They're like it for some reason to me, I'm like I like to talk in bed. Like I feel like there are some people who like that. They're like words are connected to the part of their brain that does sex stuff, and some people they're just not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I'm very much someone where it's like that. I like to talk, but like something about putting it in writing, I like it makes my skin crawl. It creeps me out. Like I'm just like I don't want to like ever have evidence of the shit I have said in bed. Like I don't want to be able to look through those texts again. Like that's I'm not a sexter. Like it makes me, I'll send pictures or whatever, but like the full on just like typing out like, and then I'll do this. Like it creeps me out. I can't do it.
Yeah, I would hate that.
I'm pretty guarded too. I want to make it look good. Something I could put on my tombstone and not feel like, bad about.
It's just putting it in. It just feels way more permanent than just like mumbling something weird.
yeah.
Like the moment, you know.
Right.
Mumbling. I mean, let's get to this dude here. This guy.
This is another level.
This is the next level type shit in real sex world.
Even though I want to know what he looks like and I want to know what his voice sounds like, it's my imagination can create something better.
Okay, whatever. Oh, here we go.
Great music again.
Yeah, I consider myself an average guy. Basically, go to work 9:30 to 6 every day, get off work, come home, get on the computer, talk on the billboard, chat.
He's typing "I will hot chat" into like a general chat room. Who's looking to hot chat with me?
Also, he looks like a 1980s like lineman. He has like a nice long bowl cut thing and a real strong mustache.
Yeah.
Just like
I just feel like
real vintage.
You're always in for something good when someone on Real Sex starts their interview by saying they consider themselves an average guy. Like that's always like something fun is about to happen.
He is. This guy is not.
Oh, me, I'm nobody.
Here's more.
Home here for a while.
Me and my
So his wife, while he's doing cyber sex, his wife sits on the couch right behind him. Like, she'll say like
nude, right?
He said sometimes she'll put on a G-string or something, but like she just is like, okay, So what I picture their life as being like, because he's shirtless and he's just sitting at his computer, is he goes to work, they eat dinner together, and then she sits on the couch and reads a magazine or watches TV, and he sits over at the computer and just fucking jacks off all night until she says, "Hey, would you like to talk to me?"
Hot chatting.
Hot chat.
Hot chatting.
His explanation too, where he's like, "Well, my wife, she likes the chess boards on here,
yes,
and I like the ones where people talk about fucking." Like, it's like these are not equivalent interests.
It's the internet, She'll go and talk about Beanie Babies with her friends, and then I, talk to women how much I want to suck on their long titties.
Hey, Street Fight friends and family, guys, gals, non-binary pals. How is your day going? How is your life going? How's the world going? Is it flat? Do you know where it's at? It's here. This is the place to be every Sunday. Street Fight Radio, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tonight we take calls. We want to hear from all y'all. Give us a call. You know that number to dial. You wrote it down like you normally do. And you don't need me to remind you. It's 614-655-3887. I don't have that on a post-it note in front of me because I think it looks tacky. And my desk is the first thing that you see when you come into my apartment. And I just don't want there to be messiness. So please put up with my not knowing the number every single week. It's 614-655-3887. We'll be here till 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are, of course, also on WCRS LP-FM community radio here in Columbus, Ohio, 92.7 or 98.3 if you're in the Cap City. So come hang with the gang. Twitch.tv/Street Fight Radio. Jump in the chat and let us know what's going on in your world. My name is Brett. My co-host is Brian. And we'll be here on Wednesday too to do the basement show. So there's lots of things happening in the Street Fight universe. Also, the shirts did get ordered. They are on time. I know I've been like depressedly dragging my feet on everything, but I did order the new Street Fight Anvil t-shirts and I got another one on the way. So hang tight. You'll be able to spend some money soon.
Nice. I love spending money.
That's the best.
I did the craziest thing this month. Something I never do.
Wow.
Paid my bills before I bought other stuff.
No way. Why would you do that?
Was something well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm feeling pretty good about it. So I don't know. I think what happened was me and Kate got paid on the same. She got paid on Wednesday. I got paid on Thursday. So it just started feeling like I'll never run out of money. You know what I mean? Like you get a feeling when no matter how much it is, if somebody gave me tomorrow, if somebody was like, here's $300, I'd be like, I'm never going to run out of money. There's no fucking possible way this $300 isn't going to carry me for the rest of my life. So
regular listeners will know that also when you say that with $200,000, you'd be set for life.
Yeah. Well, basically if there's like, okay, I have a number. Okay. Yeah. Brett forgot his mic. So I sound great. They said it in the chat. So anyway, here's the thing. Here's the deal. And Brett does not use Just for Men. He would go gray gracefully, just like me. For Pete's sake. I can't believe they would accuse you of that, Brett. So anyway, if there is a number where I'm not broke, that once I cross that number, I'm broke. Okay. And the number tends to get higher as I do better in my life, I guess. And there was a period of time where the number was like $300. I think now the number is $600, I think, where it's like if I have more than $600, I'm like, all right, we're fucking doing great right now. Everything's going really well. I mean, I have more than $600 approximately 7 days out of each month. But at that time, I feel like things are going extraordinarily well. And, you know, I have a way of paying
like
my
thinking about like, you're just imagining having 3 Lego sets, I guess, or something. Just imagining all the Lego sets you could buy.
I think what happened, really, the reason I paid all my bills is because I went and bought a Lego set on Thursday or Friday and checked the bank account afterwards. And my bank, I go to a credit union. I know a lot of you people like go to regular banks that have good apps and they are very self-explanatory and you know what's going on in your bank account. Well, mine is not that way. And it does have an app, which is surprising actually to me. So I do have a bank app, but I also I have this banking app. It has a section for the money that comes out on the statement where it's like, oh, this is the money that came out. And then it has a section for pending charges on it. Now, I can never figure out if the number on the account is the pending charges already came out, or if the number on the balance is after or is before pending charges. So I literally never have any idea how much money I have. I just know that there's pending charges and then there's non-pending charges. And I wish somebody could explain it to me. So anyway, I end up finding out the next day that the pending charges had actually come out. So the number was the number. It wasn't a number and then these are the monies that are going to come out later. It was the number. And I got really excited about it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's pay all the bills. And I did. And now I'm sitting around feeling like, I paid all the bills. I feel good about it. But
this is really taking a turn for the worse on Street Fight.
Well, that doesn't, I mean, it doesn't, I just feel good that I paid my bills. It's not like I'm not going to be broke in a week. Like in a week, I'm going to be like, why the fuck did I pay my bills? You know what I mean? I do that. Yeah. Then that's where then in a week, you're like, what the fuck was I thinking paying my bills like that? That was stupid. But right now, I feel rich. I feel like a guy that's like really got it together. So that's okay. I mean, I'm
it's good to have it together.
I'm on this thing now where I want new towels and finding out how much that costs. I don't like it. Now I'm starting to figure out why I've had the same towel since I moved out.
It's a big investment. A few Lego sets. And you got to get matching up and down the wall. You got to get like the shit that hangs on the wall too.
Dude, back when I was growing up, like we had a linen closet at my parents' house and it was positively filled with towels, Brett. You would never believe the amount of towels in this linen closet. It just from bottom to top, we had so many towels. I thought that's how life was, right? Like,
oh God. Yeah.
Yeah. My parents had 5 kids, so there were 7 people living in the house. So I thought life was whole closet full of towels. That's not what life is like at all. No. I've like 6 towels and the ends are ripped off of every single one of them. So they're not even full towels. The ends are ripped off and then cut into pieces and are now used as dish towels. So now I have all of these like 75% of a towel. And it's driving me fucking crazy. I am going nuts. And I don't know. I got to buy towels, but they're expensive. I don't like the idea of it. Somebody in the chat said silverware that doesn't bend. Psychic Gasoline in the chat's like, I'm thinking about buying silverware that doesn't bend. I would just get that thought right out of my head if I was you. You do not want to start looking into that stuff. That stuff
bad road to go down.
Money. You don't want to start thinking about buying good appliances. You know what I mean? I got a KitchenAid handed to me. Hand me down KitchenAid. Very old. And when I found out how much those things cost, I was like, no wonder my parents only ever had one of those hand guys. Because those are like $14.
Yeah, those are easy to replace.
Yeah, I have one of those too. But yeah. Everything in your house costs way too much money.
Yeah, I have that problem. I'm
Yeah,
trying to refurnish my whole house after divorce. It's like, hey, I did a good job. You know, I didn't spend all my money on useless shit. And then it's like, well, now I need something for the house. Like I need a vacuum cleaner now, which is like the worst. It's the worst. There's never been a good one. Nobody fucking likes theirs. Everybody's always looking to their next vacuum cleaner. No one likes the vacuum cleaner that they fucking have. Not even the Dyson people.
I got a shark, and people been telling me like these sharks. Well, they've been telling me. Remember how I said that Swiffers don't work, and then everybody yelled at me and said Swiffer works. They also told me those sharks for the hardwood don't work. I don't know. I mean, I have like one, and I think it's ridiculous to put a vacuum on a hardwood floor anyway, or like a tile floor, but I have carpeting upstairs. But I don't want my wife vacuuming too often because I'm worried she'll vacuum up some Legos. And
oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like, and then I'm missing a Lego. It's like, what the fuck? Now I got to order a new Lego. So now every time she's downstairs vacuuming and I hear that noise of like a hard thing going into the vacuum, I have a meltdown.
Oh, when you hear the crackle?
Yeah. If I hear while she's vacuuming, I'm like, fuck, that could be that. I don't even know. That could be, you know, a Lego. And that would be a problem because, you know, I'm still working on this set. You know,
worth money. It's a lot of money.
Well, I can't figure out how to sell them, so I just gave up. I bought this goddamn Optimus Prime. I took a picture of the box as a joke, and somebody said, "Oh, you hate to see when somebody treats their boxes like that." I was like, I don't know how to open it without it like looking like it's opened.
You're a little rough on things.
It's a fucking I don't know how to open some, but I did go to a
razor.
Toy store.
You get a razor and you or you like steam the sticker off. You hold it over a steaming water and then pull the sticker off gently so it can be reattached.
Crazy behavior. I went to the toy store today. What's the toy? So I go into this vintage toy store, right? I don't know why I thought this because it's an idiotic thing to think, but I was like, maybe they got some cheap Lego sets in there, like they don't know what they got, sort of thing. Like a guy that owns a vintage toy store doesn't know what he has.
Well, we got all these crummy old toys from the early 1930s and 40s. These old Batmans, these Mego Batmans and Justice League figures, they suck. We got to get rid of them for pennies.
So I go in there and I'm looking at the wrestling figures because I want a Kevin Nash. I already have like a Bobby Heenan. There's like a few wrestling figures that I'd like to have. But it's not just a like all buy any, you know? It's like Kevin Nash. I'd like probably a Scott Hall, any Bobby Heenan variants. Maybe a honky tonk man. Like there's just certain ones that hold sway in my mind as like special. And I'm standing in there and I'm looking at the section where they're all in the boxes. And I just can't believe that. I can't believe somebody had the foresight to like save the box. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to figure out there's a Wardlow one, which he's a AEW guy. It was an AEW action figure in the box. And I'm like, why would you even do that? Because that's never going to be worth anything. And then you find out it's like, then you start thinking, you're like, if everybody thought like me, they wouldn't have all these other ones that are in the box that are worth something now, you know?
That's a bad example because only adult men are buying wrestling action figures.
Yeah.
Of course they're keeping them in the box.
Yeah, I don't. If I bought a figure, I'd take it out of the box, dude. Because I wouldn't.
Yeah, you're not a collector and you don't
think it would. Yeah. Well, you just want to. I thought people just wanted the toy. And again, okay, wrestling figure's a bad one, right? But like having a whole bunch of G.I. Joes that are in the box to me seems wild. Like having every Cobra Commander that ever existed in the box is like, who even thought to do that? In the 80s, and 90s, dude, adults threw toys away. They did not keep them. My parents was always trying to throw my toys away.
I mean, I think you'll find that there are just very weird, meticulous. There's kids that do it, and then there's also grown-ups watching the show that really fall in love with the characters that don't want to taint the toy. It's like having a mint baseball card, like taking it out of the package. I mean, it's ruined. It's like some kid's plaything.
Yeah.
It has to be in the box to be like even. I mean, the same thing goes for like so the Play It Trade It place by me, they have like Super Nintendo games that are still shrink wrapped. They got like a Star Fox for like $399, you know, and people go in there and look at it and are like, oh, well, maybe, I don't know. Like, people pick up like just a $700 like Sega Saturn like cardboard cutout that was never opened or something, like just sat in a back room, you know. I don't know. Yeah. I don't get it either. It's better than like NFTs for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love the packaging because I like to see the wording that they use. I like to see that the other figures that were available in the series. I like to see all that stuff. And also I like to keep the integrity of the figure together.
But I really, when I was a kid, you know, like I've said this before, like my favorite toys were He-Man, the what's the word? The Masters of the Universe. Like I was just the world's biggest Masters of the Universe guy, right? And like before there was a TV show, all of the Masters of the Universe lore was in these little books that came inside the packaging of the Masters of the Universe toys, where you would it was like a comic book that gave you like whatever the lore was. And or like other toys came with like a catalog inside them of like other toys that you could get. And I was crazy for those catalogs, man. I was
Carla saves all of her catalogs still.
Really? I didn't save them. I just read them and was like, my parents threw them in a trash. My parents, dude, a punishment in my house was I'm just going to throw your toys away. They would just
that was mine too.
Yeah, they get all hot under the collar and they say, fine, I'm throwing all your toys away. And it's like, damn, that's fucking mean. But the other thing I saw...
He would do like a work boot walkthrough and just like anything that stepped on would get broke.
The other thing that blew my mind is trading cards being in the package there. And also how little they're worth. Like a pack of Garbage Pail Kids is only $3. Like,
yeah, because they made a bajillion of them and tried to put them into every kid's hand.
Oh yeah, trust me, they were in my hands. So yeah, that was my toy day. I spent a good toy day. They did have Legos. They didn't know what they had in the opposite direction, because they have one that I bought for $140 and they were selling it used for $200. And I was like, well, I guess the overhead at this place is a lot or something, because they know what they got, but they charge too much for it. So it was very strange. The Shelby, the one at the office, that I dropped and is now in pieces, but the Shelby at the office was $140 and they were selling it for $200. It was in the box, but the box was very clearly opened and damaged. And I was just like, I'm not going to buy anything here now. Like, cause now I know you're ripping people. Now I know it's a rip off joint, you know? So,
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't, that's a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, first of all, can you buy it? Can you go to the store and buy it right now? No.
Yes.
So you can go buy it for $140.
It's at Target for $140 right now.
Okay.
It's such a fucking common Lego set that you can, because like you can't get like Optimus Prime or the Back to the Future car at like Target. You have to go to the Lego store, but like, or order it online. But like the Shelby is one that they sell at like Target and Walmart and stuff like that. It's one that is there that you could go get for $140, and it's just nuts.
The other thing though is that also, I mean, I have stuff that I have in my closet that you just wait for the right person to pay the right price. 10 years from now, they'll sell it for $200, you know?
Yeah, some fucking
I
crazy
s-
guy that like Shelby's will come walking in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I've been reselling a bunch of shit recently and trying to think about it. Because I just resold something, but like a bank that I bought for like $10. I sold it for like $60. And
Nice.
I'm like, I mean, I had to drive out to fucking Lancaster, Ohio, spent like 2 hours on the fucking road and probably $10 in gas to go get it. And I can see why somebody wouldn't want to deal with that and would just want to have the cool thing at their house. Like I mean, I go and procure a lot of very neat, interesting things, but yeah, it takes time and effort on my part. And you just have to come in and pay. You don't have to do shit. So
Yeah,
know.
you're right. You're totally right, because like I started thinking, like I started trying to figure out, because like, so something I really loved growing up is muscle men, like
Oh yeah,
M.U. You know what I'm talking about? They were
yeah.
like little alien wrestlers.
Kanikuman.
I was so super into those things. And I would love to have a few just around in my house, just like kind of to show off. Like, but like I was like, I would have to get like extraordinarily lucky to find muscle men, or just order them on the internet, because I don't want new ones, because the ones they had at the toy store I was at were Masters of the Universe ones. And I was like, well, that wasn't what I was trying to get. The muscle men were alien wrestlers. So I did find out what muscle stands for, then forgot about it as promptly as I left. But I did stand there and look at it and go like, that's what muscle stands for?
Millions of unusual small creatures lurking everywhere.
Yeah. I was like, wow, that's what it was? Because we just called them muscle men growing up. I love those goddamn things.
Well, they're actually they were really Kanikuman, which is a wrestling manga in Japan. They were just those figures like they just called them muscle men when they brought them to America.
Yeah.
But it is a real Kanikuman is a really good anime and manga. Manga.
I don't know, whatever. I should look into something like that. I tried anime though. I did the one thing and I liked it and then just fell off. You know what I mean? Oh, by the way, I finished the Mormon show, and I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna be Mormon. Still can't make the promise. I don't know. They got a little weird near the end, where it was like, it felt, you know what it made me feel like? And I don't know if this is true. It made me feel like if you're a Mormon, like a person could tell you, like, I'm a prophet, and you would like probably fall. Like, people were just falling for it all the time in this show. And then I watched another thing and people were falling for it. And then like a couple of other documentaries where it was like, I'm starting to feel like they're easy to trick. I don't want to be that, but I'm still obsessed with Mormons. If people know any other Mormon stuff, I would love it. I've already seen the one where the guys blow each other up, and I have seen Orgasmo. Yeah.
Okay.
And then somebody told me the guys that blew each other up shared a cell with the guys that from the Mormon show I was watching, and I was like, oh, their Bible studies were
like sucked each other off.
No, they shared a jail cell. Because in my
blew each other up.
Well, no. Okay, so there were these Mormons like in the 80s that just blew each other up with bombs. Like they were just like got real mad because somebody wasn't Mormon enough. And because that's what ends up happening. These goddamn Mormons, right? They get mad at each other because people aren't Mormon enough. They're not like Christians, where Christians are like, oh, you know, you're not acting very Christian, but like that's part of being a Christian. You know what I mean? Like we're all imperfect people. With the Mormons, it feels like there are people that are like, you say you're Mormon, but you're not. And then they get really mad and then they go fucking nuts on each other. And they will like blow each other up with bombs. They'll fucking kill each other's wives and stuff like that. And it's like, And yeah, Hot Tits 420 in the chat said FLDS. It is. There's a sect of Mormons called the FLDS, the Fundamental Latter-day Saints. And they're the ones that are still doing polygamy. And they're the ones that are like, they just are like, they're not putting up with nothing, dude. They just aren't. They do not put up with people fake and being Mormon. So I just want the FLDS to know that I am not Mormon. Now, that doesn't mean, again, that I won't turn Mormon when I'm 60. That's just a fucking thing that could happen. My sister gave me some Mormon info too, because she married an ex-Mormon. So I got some new Mormon info recently too. That
Doing
like
some-
they,
Doing research.
Yeah. Well, I guess when she was getting married, he had decided, hey, I'm not a Mormon because, you know, this guy's been doing drugs and stuff with me for years already before they go to get married, right? And his dad pulls her aside and he's like, what are you going to do to, like, get him back in the church? And she's like, nothing, because I'm not Mormon. And
asked
so,
that?
what? His dad.
Oh, okay.
The guy she's marrying's dad is like, what are you going to do to get him back in the church? And it's just like, nothing. Like, I don't want him to. And so, like, for the whole rest of the time, like he also tried to christen her car with holy water, but like not dumping it on the car, like breaking a glass of holy water on the car. And she was like, I'm not letting you break a glass on my car. It's not like a boat. And he got really mad at her. And then there was another time where she said, fuck. And he kind of like really pushed her up against the wall and gave her the what for. Like real fucking mean style stuff. So, and also she told me, here's the other Mormon thing about him. One time he had an impure thought about a woman, and he left his family for 30 days to like pray on it.
Smart.
Like he was just fucking gone. No, he didn't like do anything with the woman. He
Smart.
just
I mean,
was
that's what I mean, though. He really stepped away from the sitch so he could clear his head. I need 30 days for most of my decisions.
It's a thought. I think that's the thing that gets me is like, how the fuck do you get caught in a thought? Like, how do you, I can never catch myself thinking the bad stuff that I do, you know? It's like, I don't think it's bad till you do it, I guess is where my opinion falls in. So that is, it's called Under the Banner of Heaven is the Mormon show. I am going to start watching Big Love soon. Anything Mormon, you just let me know because I'll fucking watch. I love them. I don't love them. I think they're crazy, but like I'm as fascinated with them as there was a period where I was very fascinated with North Korea. Then I found out that's just like racism or imperialism or whatever. So I kind of backed off on that, you know, but the Mormons are like my new kind of, I'm really into that. I'm really fucking obsessing over them. So
sounds exciting.
That's my life. That's what's going on. How you doing, Brett? What was your weekend?
I did a ton of. We did a lot of shit.
Damn.
I'm in pain because I was playing board games by myself. I got this new Rallyman GT board game. I was playing a racing board game, drinking non-alcoholic beer, and getting so excited that I was doing pull-ups, and I like pulled a muscle in my arm. And I was like headbanging around the house. I was so giddy. I was like all by myself, and I was playing this game, which I didn't think I was going to be too much into it. But then I saw that you could do time trials, and then I just became obsessed with getting the lowest amount of time on this fucking board game.
And it's on your phone, or
No,
is
it's
it like an
on
actual?
the table.
It's an actual physical piece of like stuff that you can play by yourself.
Rolling dice, to race around a track as fast as possible.
And it's F1.
No, it's just regular ass cars.
Man, F1 is, I mean, I can't think of anything bigger right now. I got to tell you.
It's gigantic.
One of the wrestling podcasts I listened to got into F1. Now they like spend like 15 minutes at the beginning of every show talking about F1.
It's gonna take over.
It's not like a comedy show or anything. They're like pretty fucking like straight-laced dudes.
Oh yeah.
That are like journalists that like break news, and now they're like, what's going on in F1? I haven't heard the name Max Verstappen that many times, but they love him. They watch that Netflix show. Everybody loves that Netflix show. And
Yeah,
then they
Drive
get
to
into the
Survive is the big one.
races. Yeah, I tried it, you know.
I'm going also down. There's the Southern Ohio Forest Rally is happening. I'm going to go take Charlotte, and we're going to go watch some rally cars next week.
What are
I
rally
took
cars?
the ones that go like flying through the woods and shit.
Like
remember
Jeeps?
Colin McRae? Remember that Subaru WRX and like the Colin McRae racing for PlayStation?
Googling it right now. No, I don't.
You don't remember any of that? Okay.
I don't know. The woods.
Yeah, it's basically
though.
yeah. They race on They race on asphalt, gravel, in the woods, on snow and ice. They set up like 15 little stages, and each stage will be like a 2-mile run that's like absolutely breakneck, like wild. And they just speed through. They'll be like 80, 90 miles an hour, you know, through the fucking forest, you know, and into the high hundreds, you know, on straightaways and shit.
Not even
And
really fancy.
There's two
looking
guys in the
cars.
car. There's like a co-driver that tells them what's coming up. They're like, turn 500 meters. It's all like Scandinavian people. Scandinavian people can fucking drive.
Yeah,
like
I can't
crazy.
figure out why we can't get into that here as much.
Like
we like the
NASCAR
worst
is
race.
dog shit. We have the
Yeah.
worst race. NASCAR is dog shit. Indy is the best, and Indy is trying to do a Drive to Survive thing. But like going to the Formula One race in Miami, you needed like $1,800 for a ticket. To go
Yeah.
to like the Austin one was like $185 for one day, or like $600 for the weekend. You can go to IndyCar for $35 for general admission.
Jesus. Well, I mean, $35 is a great ticket price, but yeah. I think these rally cars are really weird because I don't think they don't look like super special. That's what's interesting. Well, they got all the ads on them, but they look like just like I'm trying to think of how to explain it. Like
Penny racers.
Yeah, or the cars
Toy
the
cars.
dudes race in the street. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like a guy that gets like really into fucking like Hyundais. Like they look like that to me.
You're talking original Fast and Furious style.
Yeah, guys that are really into Hyundais or like
nobody's into
Corollas. That's
Okay,
the one-
Corollas, yes.
Okay, here's a guy that's really into Toyota Yaris.
Yeah, there you go. No, not really. You're off, but still.
It's something. I'm looking at cars, so they're
Well, I
weird
guess
looking cars.
The Yaris now, I guess it is a Yaris. Is it a Yaris? No, that was the old one.
There's a Yaris. There's a Toyota Yaris here. There's a Hyundai.
You're right. I forgot there's a Hyundai group in rally car now.
But I see Subarus and Porsches too. The Porsche guy probably is like a, you know, like people are probably like, fuck you, Porsche guy. I would be, you know.
Nobody likes
So.
Porsche guys.
Yeah, well, no. I was going to buy a Porsche Lego set, but I didn't because, you know, Porsche. Seems too fancy. All right. Do we want to take some calls here?
Yeah, we got a few.
We got some calls.
All right, let's see who's on the phone. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hello, it's Hank in Los Angeles.
Hi, Hank. How are you doing?
Great. I'm great. You guys have been doing a good job hosting Hank Fight Radio for the last few weeks, so commending you for that. Well done.
Hey, thank you for doing what you did. That was really great. So, how you doing, Hank?
Thank
What's
you.
going on?
Let's see. I've got some cult recommendations for you, and a little talk about. You guys talked on Wednesday about some Mormon stuff, and I mentioned in the chat that I grew up with a little Christian Science. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about my experience as a young.
Yeah, try to convince Brian.
We wanted to ask Christian Science questions on Wednesday. Do they? When's the first time you tried medicine?
Yesterday.
Actually,
I stole a
Hank,
bottle
can
of
I ask
aspirin
you?
from the drugstore. Yeah,
Do
go
Christian
ahead.
scientists? This is a Christian Science question for real.
Okay.
Booze is booze okay?
I think so. Listen, I'm not a great source for this, but I because I honestly don't know a lot about it. However, it was somewhat instrumental because in my childhood, because my mother was raised in a Christian Science family. Um, the reason it had an impact on my life is that my mom depended on lithium to keep her brain in order in a way that helped us. We had some struggles in our family, and she happened to also had been raised in the one fucking religion that tells you to stop taking your pills. So there were a couple of periods in my childhood where I did have to go to, we did go to Christian Science, like Sunday school a few times. And there were a bunch of like the pamphlets and the books around. So I did have some exposure, but not to the degree where I can honestly be a good resource for you. But the answer is yes, they get drunk a lot. I'm just going to make up answers if you want to keep asking questions. I have no,
Well,
I honestly don't know
I
about
think
booze.
I think I had this.
Go ahead.
I had this conversation with my wife and daughter, and I think I even brought this up to Brett on the last show. But like I think, you know, as I've been looking into the Mormons and stuff like that, I started to think about like they're losing people, right? Like every religion is losing people. They're not gaining. You know what I mean? And like, so I started like wondering, like, I mean, it has to be hard, but like, when did your mom, do you know when your mom just decided, like, I'm not into this. I don't believe in this? Because I would feel the reason I'm asking this is because, like, in my mind, I think because of the way I am, the way I was raised, and the way I ended up, that like people who grow up in like religious homes and stuff, and just also, let me just say this, also people from who call into the show, right? Like, I don't know how you get to 18, 19 years old and don't just say, I'm not going to do that anymore. I don't like, I actually watched a thing about Amish people, and like the dad of this woman was like really fucking surprised that she decided to stay Amish, because he was just like, people are just leaving these days. So I think what is fascinating to me is people who do get to 18, 19, you're an adult, you can fucking leave. Like, it has to wreak havoc on your mind. Obviously, it wreaked havoc on your mom because she went through bouts where she was like, I'm not taking my medicine. I'm a Christian Scientist again. But like, how did she, like, do you know how she decided to just never mind, I'm not doing this? Or did she leave her house when she was 18, 19 years old and just say, I'm not doing this?
Right. Yeah, I don't know that exactly. Her childhood was very difficult and chaotic. If I told you the real story, it'd be super depressing for everybody. So I'll spare you the details. But like a lot of families from the 50s and stuff, there were the father did a lot of things that they took a lot of liberties with their families that they never should have. You know, that was a feature of American society, still is, I would say. That I think that's one of the underspoken, like you know, things in America's attic that needs to be talked about more, to be honest. So I don't think, I don't think she got out of high school. I never got the sense that it was as rigidly culty as Mormonism. It could be. I think, you know, like one of the things that I was wondering about with Under the Banner of Heaven is like, are there like moderate reform Mormons, or is it like, you know, the way there's like Christians that call themselves Christian, they're probably Christian, but they don't really go to church. They're, you know, like there's sort of a gentle slope away from fundamental Christian to sort of like lazy Christian. I don't know if that exists for Mormons either. Like, it seems like it's more of a cliff. Like once you sort of like are not into it, they'll try to keep you, but then they'll just kick you. Like it's just sort of a steep drop off. And it might be also the case for Christian Science. I honestly don't have a good idea if it is or not. I didn't get the sense that that's how it was. I did go to some Sunday school events a few times. Overall, our religious construct was basically just like, we're Americans, therefore we're Christian. We weren't particularly Christian, like it didn't.
Yeah.
We were just like Midwestern white people Christians. But then my mom had, every once in a while, the pamphlets would come out. So the religion was started by this lady named Mary Baker Eddy. She was the Joseph Smith of Christian Science. Joseph Smith being the guy who started Mormonism, for the people that don't know that. And it was like in the mid 1800s, more like the late 1800s. I was actually just reading Wikipedia about it as I was waiting to talk to you guys. And their population, well, sorry, that's jumping ahead a little bit. It started in Boston, and she was, I would consider her sort of a con man type, con woman, con human type person. But, similar to the way that prophets in Mormonism are revered, America is sort of a fertile ground, especially in the 1800s, for religions to form. And this is one of them that actually took root. But they don't emphasize proselytization to the same degree as Mormonism. I don't even think they really do much proselytization, which is why their numbers are right now like only in the low 100,000s or something like that. It's pretty small, but they did have like prominent political figures. I'm not going to tell you the story right now, but my mom has like someone from her church who became like a very prominent figure in like national politics. So I have a kind of a funny story about that too. But it was nutty though, man. She would start to need medical attention, and instead of that, we had science and health, which is the Joseph Smith wrote the Book of Mormon. That's like the third book of the Bible according to the Mormons. For Christian Scientists, it's Science and Health by Mary Baker Eddy, and the official name is like the Church of Christ, Scientists, which is like they gave him like a job title basically, like Christ, pool, like pool boy or something like that.
Hank, I'm gonna tell you the truth though. If I was around back then, saying somebody, I mean, there was a time in my life where all I needed to hear was that somebody was a scientist, and I was like, oh yeah, I believe this person. So calling Jesus a scientist, there might have been a time in my life that could have got me religious, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I find this stuff so interesting, and like I asked at the end of the show, actually, on Wednesday night, like we are in a weird time. I don't know. I don't know how end timesy things are right now, because like I tend to, you hear all the time that like every generation thinks they're living in the end times. So you're just kind of sitting around like, I mean, this really feels like the end times though.
In the pandemic created a disruption like we haven't been tested with in 100 years,
Yeah. So are there going to be new? I mean, I asked last night, I was talking to some friends, and I asked you, Brett, and like, I think a lot of people are pointing to like QAnon might actually end up being like a legit, this is a religion and we have to respect it now thing.
You think so?
I don't know, but they did last night. And some other people had messaged me and said that too. And I don't know if I can picture them seeing Trump as a deity. You know what I mean? Like I think people think that, but I don't think that's how they think of him.
Yeah, Jesus would be mad about that.
Yeah, well, even if you don't believe in God, but you're a QAnon person, right? Like,
yeah,
I just don't think there's people. Like I said, people like ascribe this stuff to people like, oh, they think Trump's Jesus or something like that. But I just don't know if I can see them making this decision like, oh, Trump's Jesus, and when he dies, we all follow old Trump writings and speakings and stuff like that. I don't think that's happening. But I do wonder if we are going to see a new religion, especially coming out of COVID like this.
It has culty characteristics that are much more apparent. I think the religion is more down the road, if it is something like that is going to happen. All the ways that Mormon Church was formed, and that's what that show is about. I'm not going to spoil it. I read the book too, but they faced a lot of persecution, which is actually a way of like hardening the believers. They're pretty strict to people who leave it. You know, they sort of have a strange punishment system for apostates, which I know Mormonism does, and Scientology has that. So like the differences between a cult and a religion is generally, I mean, I'm not going to try to completely claim I understand it, but like when you leave is like how brutal are they to you if you leave is one of the indicators of it. Bill Burr made a good point once. Sorry for quoting Bill Burr. I don't know if that's, you know, whatever. I'm strange that I'm worried about that. That like, no, I know. I'm not saying I'm sorry, but it's like came out of nowhere. He's one of my favorite comedians. But he once I heard him say that the problem with Scientology is that there's video of L. Ron Hubbard. Like we've got video of that guy with his like gross body. You know, it's like this like weird, shitty, you know, old, you know, Pizza the Hut looking old man. And like that's harder to make the religion more saleable in a way, you know. And I think that's also true because of with Trump, right? Like I think if a religion were to form around some sort of like crazy American Christian Trumpist type of thing, it's going to be a lot of. It's not yet mutated enough, and it'll because with the internet, with social media, information mutates our brains so much faster. But the videos are always going to exist. Like it's the same problem. Like once we have video of these numbnuts. Like we had videos of Joseph Smith being a big creep to all these 14-year-old girls, or Mary Baker Eddy being a scammer or whatever. It'd probably be harder for those religions. Like you kind of miss the window to get your religion started now that there's video of everything. So maybe that's some form of protection. We're just going to go crazy in different ways, though. I think it's going to be more culty based than actually like a religion.
Yeah, the psychic gasoline point too about people think Trump is ripped, and it's not that they think he's ripped, but like Jesus didn't look like the hot guy that he looks like in our Christian stuff too, you know.
Yeah, you're probably right. There probably will be more just local rites of passage. I get a lot of advertisements for like a men go in the woods club, and they like make you like do team building activities and like traverse through stuff and like cry in front of each other and shit. And this is all like IPA looking dads and like Black Rifle Coffee bros. But sure, they're trying to make their own like weird military type bonds, you know, without actually joining the military, basically.
I mean, that's a way better way to make your military bonds, though.
That's true. Not joining the military, I do have to give them credit. They didn't join the military, which is good.
Yeah.
But I am nervous about what they were going to use all that training for.
Right. Yeah. Like some of those guys probably have some decent impulses to try to make themselves better, but it also fits into a useful conditioning, military style conditioning thing for like reinforcing the patriarchy and the kind of hierarchies that we're all stuck with right now. It's generally kind of scary, especially when you get to the more like militia gun-toting types.
I do get very nervous about, and one of the reasons I left rehab and didn't work the program was that they wanted to send me to all men's groups. And I think, you know, it's not like I was like some woke or feminist person at this time, but something about like a bunch of men getting together has always sort of made me nervous. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about like to have sex with each other. I'm fine with that. I'm saying like a bunch of men, it being like, this is a male specific thing where we go and do this thing. It's like, I don't know. I don't feel good about that. I feel a little uncomfortable with that happening.
I'd be more assured if they were all having sex with each other. That'd be the fine.
That would be great.
That's human. You should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should go for it.
Yeah. They need closeness.
But
they
don't
need
do this crap
to be held.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's go. Hey,
dude.
I'll go to a sucking and fucking retreat. I might not suck and fuck, but I'll go to it. At least then I know it's not all toxic masculinity. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
They're not like in a drum circle.
Gotta,
they're sucking and fucking, and it's just like sitting around a fire. I'm like, okay, well, this is okay, I guess. Better.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna go to
infiltrate
the non-nude side.
Yeah. The non-sucking and fucking side.
Yeah. The pre 8 p.m. crowd. We should infiltrate these oath keeper groups, these like men's rights groups, and then try to get them to all suck and fuck. We'll just talk, like bring
They
it up. Be
won't.
like, hey guys, I got an idea. And then they'll kill us.
I mean,
Teach them
'cause
about
it's like-
punk rock, man. The real
men's
punk.
rights groups like actually hate women. I think that
Yes,
there's a lot of those MGTOW and men's rights people that have written off sex for the rest of
Yeah,
their
that's true.
life because they hate women that much.
Yeah, I
Well-
think American cult behavior is going to form like just out of like American worship of the country. Like that's what they're trying. That's what they mean when they say "make America great again." Is they're referring to the past that never existed, the one that they want to believe is true, the mythical past of great white men that ruled the land. That's the scary part of America's future in terms of go and gun. That plus guns. So it's a violent racist cult.
You're seeing so much more of like, oh, I guess I can't be a white man any. Like I'm seeing so much more of like people like because it's brought up if somebody's a white man now. I'm seeing a lot more people say like, oh, I guess it's not okay to be a white man anymore. And it's like, oh, that's a bad, what's the word? That's like sort of a bad way to be headed. But I mean, it's always been that way. When attention's not focused on white men, they get super mad about it.
Yes. Yeah. And honestly, like if a group of like benevolent aliens came down and they did like an honest survey of what's fucked up about this country, but about lots of our countries, Western dominated, and they came down and said, you know what? No white guys in charge. I think we'd all agree that's probably the right call if the aliens decided that was best for us. Just based on the evidence.
That would make people hot.
It's not like we're heading down we're not heading down a good direction, and we've been mostly it's been white guys calling the fucking shots around here. So honestly, you can make a case for why there shouldn't be any white guys in charge at all. But yeah, the sensitivities of these fellas is pretty incredible. Yeah.
I kind of
It's so
feel
weird.
I actually would have to say that the thing that I think weirds me out the most, or that has the trend that's sort of making me pretty uncomfortable, is there is now this point where like people are mad because of diversity in like movies and television, and that seems like something that like it just to me is one of those things like how can you be mad about that? It's like that's not I don't know how to frame it like a bad thing, I guess. And I find people making that argument, I really feel like they are that is like the purest form of like racism and homophobia, because it's just like now you're just saying like I'm sick of seeing like non-white people on TV. Like I just don't even want to see that. And that to me is I'm seeing so much of that like in the ugly parts of Twitter and hearing it from people in my family or people I'm close to or around. And I find that I think that's like a really nasty thing. When Elon Musk said that Netflix has a woke mind virus, and it's like Netflix sent a memo to all their people saying if you're offended, you should just quit your job. I don't think they're the woke company, but the reason he says that they're the woke company is because there are shows about being gay and there's shows about black people and stuff like that. That's what's woke. And that is like not what that's just putting people in stuff. It's not like wokeness,
Right.
It's lived experiences
like they're
for
just
people.
Right. Yeah, they're just overtly going after the concept of representation in media and in movies. And like it's so apparent with like Star Wars movies, even in fantasy shows where they're it's all fiction. There's been numerous cases where the actor is a person of color and they go after them for not being white in a Star Wars movie or something like that. And that's one of the things about our the isolation of young men and all the ways our whole world is sort of set up. If you wanted to create conditions to have like to turn a country fascist, you'd basically design America as far as like if someone actually tried. It's fucking frightening, honestly, the way the Trump effect didn't just train other politicians that they don't have to face any consequences for being hypocritical liars. Not that they didn't always do that before, but like it seems like regular people are dialing in on that now. Like the forces of Mordor are just like sweeping over the land is kind of how it seems. But luckily we got Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to push back. So and Joe Biden. So no worries.
They did that thing in 2020 where they got down on one knee. So we're looking good.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Hank.
Yeah.
We have a full queue, and I took you off your subject once again and ruined your call for you.
Problem.
But I want to thank you for calling. And 1 week, we're going to get to what you called for. I promise.
Let's do it. And let me plug my podcast real quick if you guys want more of this bullshit. Winners and Losers. I'm putting up a YouTube video tonight, but and on the podcast apps. I'd love to get some new listeners. Make me happy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brett.
And if you like Tank Fight Radio, check out Winners and Losers. Thanks, Hank. We'll see. We'll talk to you again. I always take
All right, brothers.
Hank is so
Peace
easy
and
for me to talk to. I just take Hank off of his subject every time.
Yep. Hank gets yanked.
Yeah, poor guy.
I took my daughter to go to a luge class yesterday.
Like luge, like at the Olympics?
Yeah. Apparently, White Castle pays. White Castle is hooked up with the U.S. luge team to find young talents across the country. So they'll let your kid come play on a luge for 2 hours to see if they can like scout.
Fuck. Would they let a 43-year-old man do it?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Is I was like trying not to lose my cool, but she was getting so mad. It was so hot, and she's wearing a fucking helmet, and I wanted to jump on that thing more. Like it was all jealousy. I didn't force her. I asked her. I said, "Do you want to go try luge?" And I showed it to her, and she was like, "Yes, I want to go do this."
Yeah.
But it was so fucking hot, and she wanted to leave so bad, and she was trying to send me like her meanest faces. Like she's dragging this like 20-pound sled. It's like a sled with rollerblade wheels on the side of it that you lay on.
Yeah.
There's a huge soapbox derby course that we went to, and she had to keep dragging it up the side of this road and was so fucking mad at me until I finally caved. She did give me enough fat lip that I was like, all right, we can go. You're done. You're not a loser.
Yeah, that does suck because you're like in the future you're gonna. It's because you give them stuff and take them to stuff that it then becomes like nothing has value. Like my parents would take me. They would never take me to a luge, but if they did, I'd be still talking about it. Like, damn, man, I went to a luge place once.
It's true.
But they do stuff all the time,
Yeah. She lives the Barbie lifestyle where she can just try on any sort of hat, any sort of career she wants. She's like, maybe I'll be a loser. You're not. You are a loser.
Yeah.
All right. Next call. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, what's up? It's Nick.
Nick from New Zealand. I was gonna try, but I didn't. Do it.
Good job. Very respectful.
He's this close though. I mean, when we're talking like right there to trying, but it's so. I mean, mine are so fucking bad that like it's really embarrassing when when we are when I do it to somebody who actually talks like that. So, what's up, Nick? What's going on?
Not much. It's public holiday here. It's Queen's birthday, so we got a long weekend, and I've done absolutely nothing, and it's been real sick. Like, it's kind of like you get 3 days off for a weekend. Sometimes you'll be real productive, and sometimes you'll sit around doing fuck all. And I've done fuck all.
It's a 3-day weekend.
What?
Yeah.
Did you say it's a? And
So
can I ask you this?
Public holiday today.
Is it that Queen's Jubilee gimmick? You know what I'm talking about? Are you involved with that?
No, it's a public holiday every year. I know in the UK they're doing a lot for the Jubilee, but here no one really cares, to be honest. I think New Zealand and Australia have both been like, yeah, she's been in power for like 70 years, but every year we get a day off. in June for her birthday, which is, I mean, like, I'll take a day off.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to
Yeah.
mean anything.
I mean, we do President's Day, and I remember getting like a day like President's Day off, and or Memorial Day or Veterans Day. It's like, you give me Veterans Day off, and I mean, I'm not gonna celebrate the veterans or whatever, but I'll fucking take the day off.
Exactly.
So, how's it going, Nick? I mean, what else is going on? You said you didn't do anything today, so we gotta check in on it.
And what I mean, like, I've played video games. I've just been playing Fallout again and took the dog for a walk, and that's about it. I was thinking though, there is a Mormon connection that our Prime Minister is an ex-Mormon, which is kind
What's
of funny
that?
because like it's not something you think about in New Zealand very much. But
It's silly.
sometimes you'll even go through a small town and there'll be like a LDS church in the middle of like a suburban street.
I gotta tell
it's
you,
funny here.
I'll tell you what though, it actually makes more sense to me in New Zealand than it does in America, right? Because like when the Holy Land is far away, it's kind of one of those things where you can like really give yourself, you can be like,
Yeah.
well, you know, the Holy Land is over in America, so that's really far away, and most people, you know, aren't going to get there. So I can see, look, I've just been to Missouri, and I'm like not impressed with it. But I get it over there.
The other things I've been doing, I've got we've been working with the Canterbury Socialist Society, and we've set up a few others around the country as well. And I've got I'm hosting. We host like educational lectures, and film screenings and some other workshops and stuff. And on Wednesday, I'm hosting a talk with a whole bunch of union delegates. So I'm sort of fretting about, you know, what sort of questions do I ask? It should be a pretty good event, but it's the first one I'm actually hosting myself.
Yeah, I think I have to like. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I'm trying to think like how to come up with. I stink at questions. That's why everything I do is like conversational. You know,
Just
like
tell them a wildly personal
Yeah, I think
story
that's the
that
way to
drags
handle
them into your worldview.
that's true.
Well, my experience as a union delegate here is we've been bargaining for a contract that's expired like 2.5 years ago. So I've not been the best delegate. It's a really protracted experience because the company I work for is massive and we've got a really, really tiny union presence here.
Oh yeah. I mean, what are like the laws like over there? Is it easier to be in a union over there?
Yeah, I mean it's really protected, but it's also really mitigated. You can't strike unless your collective agreement's up for bargaining. So like, you know, our unions are pretty toothless. We used to have pretty much compulsory unionism, but you know, like you guys had Reagan, and the UK had Thatcher. We had the same sort of reforms in the 80s.
What kind of prime minister or president do you have now? Like what like thing?
Pretty
like a Macron, Brandon.
Is he like a
well,
Brandon?
Yeah,
Is it a crypt keeper guy? Is it a crypt, like a dead skeleton that is held up and treated like a real person?
No, well, we've got Jacinda Ardern, so I think she's like mid 40s maybe.
Oh, you got an Obama.
She's the Labour Party. Yeah, she's not where we'd want her to be, but she's certainly a lot better than I don't know, Boris Johnson or Trump or something, or Biden even. I'm not a huge fan, but I mean I'm a socialist. She was the president of International Socialist Youth, but I think that was even probably. I mean, like she worked for the Blair government when she came out of university, so that sort of played into her pretty well.
We hated him. We did. I mean,
Yeah, he sucked.
the funniest thing about Tony Blair though is that like he was on Bush's side, and it's not like because there was that short period where I was like listening to Rush Limbaugh and stuff like that. Even then, I was probably called Blair a slur of some sort, but still, like, I didn't respect him.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm like, I'm okay with the war, but that British guy, I do not respect that guy.
I don't think many people do. I think we actually put on a lecture recently about, essentially what formed the opinions of Blair. And it's interesting that quite a lot of really good thinkers can sort of meld themselves together and be completely taken in the wrong way by a Labour government and just put in this horrible sort of propping up of neoliberalism. It's pretty interesting, the 90s in politics, and especially the Commonwealth countries.
Yeah, that kind of like, it's not left, but it's framed as left. Obama was a big. Well, actually, they're calling Joe Biden a fucking socialist right now. They'll call anybody a socialist. But like the idea that like it's very easy to pull. There are people it's very easy to pull in if you just say good things. You don't like have to actually do anything good.
Yeah.
And you don't have to you don't have to do anything good, and you also don't have to you don't have to you can do actively evil stuff and people will still like you if you talk.
I totally know what you're talking about. It's really fucked up to see like Biden essentially putting out press statements saying like, oh, the shooting in Texas was really bad. I wish somebody would do something about it. It's like, bro, who the fuck are you? Like, come on.
That's what American presidents do, though. American presidents always will be like, I wish somebody would do something about this stuff. It's crazy. But then they're also the most powerful man in the world, they call him. So you're like, I don't know if he can't do anything. But yeah, his response, well, the U.S. government and guns is just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't feel like
I'm from Christchurch.
Possible.
And we had, that you would have heard like it was 2019. There was that mosque shooting here. 51 people died, and we're a town of like 400,000 people. So it was, it was huge in the world, but obviously in Christchurch, like it was a phenomenal event, and they did some reforms. And this was under Ardern as well, so I can give her props to this to a point of a ban on they call them military style semi-automatic weapons, or I don't even think they would. Yeah, like there's just an outright ban and a gun buyback. I don't know if it's had any positive effect yet, but at least there was some sort of coalescence and some action taken.
Somebody tried
I know that
something.
Australia in the 90s after the Port Arthur shootings in Australia, like they did some gun control, and that has worked really well. So there is. It's sad to see in the States because obviously it's so ingrained that I can't imagine even if there was a limitation on people who can buy them. Like there's so many guns out there. I think it's sort of just past the point of no return, really.
That's what I always tell. I was talking to my daughter about it, and I just said, "There's so many of them already. It's. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but there's a lot of guns out there.
No, neither. And I mean, as a Marxist as well, to like look at the writing and read like you shouldn't give up your arms was it's a tough position to be in as a Marxist because you can see the devastation from it, and especially in Christchurch after that it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, and I don't look at like I said I I don't know that I even look at this stuff like where I'm like, oh, I'm against gun control or something like that. I look at it like there's a lot of them out there. I don't know what to fucking do. I understand why people want them, and I understand why people want them banned. And like, I'm too stupid to grapple with that kind of stuff, you know?
I mean,
Yeah,
there
for
exists
sure,
a
man.
world. There exists a way to do
Anyway,
it. I mean, there's plenty of places have accomplished things. It's just America is not that place. America is we're just thrown on a plot of land and left to fend for ourselves, you know.
Mhm.
And with the I know with the conversation about where things are heading, I mean, the price of everything is going up so much, and I'm seeing people sleeping on the streets more than I ever have in my fucking life. So I think that like I'm worried more about
yeah, for
right-wing
sure.
militias. I'm worried about right-wing militias is the reason that but I also am for gun banning guns because I'll have a motherfucking illegal gun, no problem. So I'm not worried. I will be with the people that have illegal guns. So I'm
Yeah.
also doesn't bother me.
Totally. Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from, and it's sort of that it's that case of like, well, what do you determine what's the most free? Is it the ability for somebody to own a gun, or is it the ability to like go to school and not get shot up? You know what I mean? There's
Right.
different viewpoints
sure.
around what's going to make things better, even in that framing. I
Yeah,
suppose like
absolutely.
I come from a place in New Zealand. When you look at guns or COVID or whatever, the fact that we're in the middle of nowhere and surrounded by water sort of makes things a little bit easier for us. We don't manufacture guns here. You know, in the
Yeah.
States, it's a, you know, like even if you do it on a state by state level or whatever, like, you know, I've heard that, you know, Chicago's got bad gun violence, but it's not the fact that the laws in Chicago are going to make things better or worse because they can just drive over a bridge and go to a different state. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and
Like,
well,
it must be really hard to do anything if it's not on a federal level.
and the Chicago gun violence thing is just them. That's like a nasty racist thing that conservatives do. Uh, you know, but there is gun
Yeah, you
violence
have
there
to
for
forgive
sure.
me
But
because, you know, like
no.
you know, I
I'm
only
not
know
saying
about
you
the
did that.
states from what I read on
No,
Twitter. So yeah,
no, yeah, I'm saying there is gun violence there, but it is also conservatives use it so that they can say that we can't ban guns because, you know, oh no, they banned guns in
exactly.
Chicago
Yeah,
and
and
people are still
that's
using them.
yeah.
That's what it is. But
Well, of
you
course,
know,
that yeah,
those people would
exactly.
never
Yeah.
go to. It's like I look at my father-in-law who has a gun and he lives in the middle of fucking nowhere in like a modular home, and he's like, well, what if somebody breaks in my house? And it's like, dude, there's nobody here. There's like nobody's gonna break into your fucking house, dude. Like,
People break in your house when you're not there. That's when they want to break into your house.
yeah, I
I've
want to
had
come in your house and kill
Exactly.
you.
I've know 3 stories now of people that heard someone breaking into their basement or breaking into their basement or downstairs, and they go to the top of the stairs and say like, "Get the fuck out of here!" and the person just scrambles away.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. That's the fucking
Well,
thing.
all of the
That's
good arguments are
all.
falling apart because yeah, I mean, like in Texas, like you know, you can say as much a good guy with a gun's gonna stop a bad guy with a gun, but there was fucking tons of good guys with guns apparently, and they didn't do anything. They stopped the parents trying to
He
get into the
walked
school.
by one. He walked by a good guy with a gun, and
It's
the good
insane.
guy with the gun was like, "You need some help getting in there or anything like that?" And then it's crazy. I can't even believe the conversation already. And you know, you just know it's gonna happen again, and now we have to like get ready for that conversation to go badly. Basically, in
Yeah.
America, conversations are bad here. And when something turns into that, it gets bad. But yeah. Well, Nick, thanks
I'll
for
use
calling.
it
We
for
got a
segue
full
to
queue. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. I was just gonna say like that's what we're trying to do here with the Socialist Society and stuff is just bring a whole bunch more conversation and some lectures and stuff. I'll pop a link in the chat and I'll message you on Twitter, Brian, if you've got a like a PO box or something. I'll flick you an issue of the newsletter that we've done. which I'm really proud of.
That's great.
A physical copy. I'll post it to the other side of the world for you.
Nice. Well,
Awesome.
I'm here. Well, thanks for calling, Nick. We love you.
I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. We got to rip through these calls. I mean, we're not like running out of time, but we are running
talking
out of time.
real chatty today.
Chatty Keiths.
I also got to say that the other weird thing I'm having, like I told you, I played that board game. I've also beat one of my Nintendo Switch games that I've been playing since December of 2020. I actually fucking beat it. So the first game I've beaten in a really long time. It was like 53 hours.
Nice.
But
sucks when you do it though. You're done now.
Oh, I started it right back up. There's 3 different endings. There's 3 different endings in it.
Okay, that does make sense then.
But I also am kind of I guess I'm gonna ruin the joke up front. This is not how I really think. But it's also kind of weird to me that I started taking that Wellbutrin and now I've watched more TV and played more video games than I have in probably the last 5 years.
You're calming down a little.
Exactly. I can relax and enjoy things and like not be on edge or always hating shit. But it also just feels like it's making me into like a brain dead fucking American consumer too.
Yeah. Let me tell you this. Real quick. Had my last therapy appointment. Did I say this on the show already? I hope I didn't. I had my last therapy appointment and because it was, I don't know why but so anyway, I had my last therapy appointment and the thing he told me, oh, you should look for something spiritual. And I was like, not happening. That's hippie shit. I told him it was hippie shit. And then he goes like this. He starts asking me some questions. And I was talking about how I kind of thought the ketamine treatment thing was a scam. And he was like,
why do you think that?
Well, not now, but I did before.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? And he was like, you know what? I've been talking to you for almost 3 years now. And if there's one thing I want to tell you before you leave, it's you have to stop being paranoid about getting scammed.
He said that to you?
He called me paranoid. And I was like,
You're paranoid about water.
What?
You're paranoid about the safety of water.
He goes, what? I go, what do you mean by like, I don't feel like a paranoid guy. And he goes like, you think everything's a scam. Like you think that like everything is a ripoff somehow, like you're getting ripped off. And like, that's a bad way to look at the world. Mm-hmm. And like, I was just like, yeah, I mean, I guess like it does sort of make sense that, and like, this is what I came to afterward. It's like, I'm a guy that like watches pro wrestling and is fascinated with carnies and stuff like that. Of course, like, I think everything's a ripoff or somebody's, out, you know what I mean? Like, I just think everything's a scam. And, but then you know what I told him? I was like, somebody sent me the link for how much it costs to buy ketamine for these treatment clinics, and they're charging me $500 for something they get for like $2. He's like, well, they have staff, and I was like, not this place, they didn't. Like, it had 2 people, and he goes, well, everything in capitalism is a scam.
Oh, well, that's nice.
What do you want me to do? But that's it. I am. You
moved him. Everything is a scam. That's great.
Yeah, but like, he actually did say I should stop worrying about getting scammed, and that I should find something to do with your brain. That he wants me to meditate, but I told him it was like a hippie thing, and then he was just like, whatever, can you please just think of anything to do with your brain? And I was like, oh, I'll do it. I'm like kind of really enjoying now not having a constant emergency going on in there. Like, I'm just going to do that for a while.
Sure. All right, next call. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight? Hello.
Wait, hello?
Howdy.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? Hi, this is Danny in Brooklyn.
Danny, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? I wanted to call tonight specifically because I want to say 2 weeks ago, Brian, you were talking about aardvark sauce from Portland, Oregon.
Being too hot, yeah.
Wait, so have you tried it?
No, but it says habanero on it. So I figure it's just too hot for me.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about that because I lived there for 10 years and that stuff is everywhere there. But also more specifically, there was I want to say like a 2-year-ish run where I was running kind of co-hosting a YouTube channel where semi-regularly we would end up eating like a whole habanero whole. And I think I ended up doing it about 5 times. So I've eaten like 6 habaneros, just like straight to the dome. So I can maybe give you some insight into the actual heat of what a habanero feels like.
Here's what I think. I'm just going to tell you what I already think a habanero tastes like. Mace. These hot foods, to me, these hot sauces, that the whole point is, this shit is so hot. I can't ever taste anything other than pain when I have those.
Habanero has a flavor.
I've heard that that's like one of the hottest bastards out there. Like it's
not.
At the top of the list.
It's barely a jalapeno. It's just like right above jalapeno.
No. I always heard it was like
maybe Serrano is more or less.
Serrano is a pretty hot motherfucker. I'll tell you that. I'm looking it up. How to tell how hot your peppers are. That's what I'm Googling right now. I don't know.
I'll tell you right
did
now.
Did it put you out?
They're different. Okay, so I'm not gonna fudge the details here. If you eat a whole habanero, especially one that has a lot of seeds, you do kind of feel like you're hallucinating for 5 minutes. Like you'll like salivate like crazy. It's really wild. It really kind of brings you into the present. But I would say in the 10 years since we did that show, there's been just sort of this explosion like in just like painful sauces. And really it's not habaneros are sort of like they're like the hottest naturally occurring pepper, and like since then there's been a lot of like really twisted people who will like they specifically will try to like make a hotter one by like essentially mating one pepper with another one or cross-pollinating it in a specific way. So like there's certain habaneros that are red that are hotter, and there's Scotch bonnets, which are like this Jamaican pepper that are a little bit hotter. And then of course everybody's heard of a ghost pepper. But habaneros do have a little bit of flavor, and I will say specifically that the aardvark sauce is very good because even though it is flavored with a habanero, its heat, it kind of jumps up real high, but then dips down. So you do get that heat. It's something like, my mom would probably be like, oh, this is very hot. Like, but it's not something that's going to throw you on the ground. And I think like there's like only like a couple different ingredients in that sauce, and like one of them is like carrots. Like that's why it's really orange, in addition to having habanero in it. So like,
it's not too spicy. It is made to be a flavorful thing.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking now, and it is in the middle, high middle. I'm gonna try it now. I ordered some aardvark hot sauce because I just always naturally hid from habaneros because I thought they were at the very top of the Scoville scale. Now I'm looking at the Scoville scale, and they're high middle, which I'm a very medium guy. I make my steaks medium. I like medium heat on Indian food. Like whatever the middle of the peppers is, I pick that. I'm like, and just when it comes to food, I'm a centrist. and habanero seems like a centrist choice.
Mhm.
It's
Okay,
very good.
I'm getting
and,
it.
Aardvark is actually really good on pizza specifically. Like it's one that it was in like all the pizza places of Portland, probably still is. And so I'd highly recommend it on that. And yeah, I believe that's the only place that like that's where you'll find it like in a restaurant is in the Pacific Northwest, and it doesn't really make its way out of there unless you order it online. But it's very good, and I would highly recommend it. And yeah, there's hotter things out there for sure. That's definitely not the hottest.
All right, I ordered it. Thank you for calling, Danny. We
Oh,
love
of
you.
course.
Good work.
Bye-bye.
Have a great evening. Bro, I can get 3 of these things for $23. I
Is that a good
think.
deal?
I mean, Secret Aardvark hot sauce. Oh, it's a sampler. I do not buy samplers.
Well, I recommend it. I would like to do eat a whole habanero. I should do it on the stream. I want to do a 1 gram. You were talking on Block Butter, you were talking about 1 gram dab. And I realized I can do one of those now. Like I have the money. When it used to be like it would cost too much money to just blow a whole gram, you know. But now
you can get them pretty cheap too. Like you could do a 1 gram dab. It to me it's not like, I don't know. I think to me it's like as crazy as it gets sort of thing for weed. Like it's that's the extreme, that's like the Everest of weed, I think. It's the 1 gram dab. Yeah, you don't think? I think it is. Yeah. I mean, the only thing you can really do is do a 2 gram dab after that point. So I would say that a 1 gram dab is the Mount Everest of weed. And people can call and tell me I'm wrong, but like I'm thinking a 1 gram dab is it.
Okay, interesting.
I mean, can you think of anything else that you think would put you through more? You get what I'm saying?
I mean, just a crazy edible, I guess.
I guess like the world's biggest bong could be, but that in the end.
No, the 1 gram dab is more.
Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, 1 gram dab. I guess if there is some, I'll look up while we answer this next call. I'll look up if there's some extreme edible.
Okay. All right, next call. We could just take a ton.
Yeah, you just want to do the craziest one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who we talking to?
What's up, guys?
Howdy.
Bear.
This is an all-star cast today.
Oh, hey,
Oh,
Brett.
it's going great tonight.
So one of the highest THC things is a 175 milligram Chiba Chew. It's called the Chiba Chew Decadose.
Okay.
And it's small, dude. It's like the size of a you remember Bonkers? It's the size of a Bonkers or a Mamba.
Damn. Why did you bring up Bonkers? You have the touch.
Never mind. There's the Topanga. Okay, I got it. I'll have it 1 second. Sorry, Bear. I'm trying to figure out the highest sold edible. Here it is. All right. It's called the Korova Black Bar Brownie.
Okay.
1,000 milligrams of THC.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a 20 dose.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And there's also a Venice Cookie Company 420 brownie that is also 1,000 milligrams.
That would just
can't get much further.
Yeah, that's just gonna make you go to bed. I would just make me sleep and you wake up super high.
Meltdown. I don't know how I would just be like, I'm dead. I think I died.
Yeah,
I would be like that cop that called 911 and said, I think I'm dead. Because I did 250 in like a half hour, and it's one of the great trials of my entire life.
Right.
Sorry, Bear. What's going on
I
tonight?
would not recommend. I was gonna say I wouldn't recommend doing any of those. One time I made a 1,250 milligram edible, and it sucked, and I hated my life. Would not recommend. It's not
You
fun.
did it?
How long did you go through it?
800 milligram.
Damn.
How long did it last?
I got one of those. I got one of those fucking herb vaporizers. So after you vape it, like the dried herb, it's a little bit weaker than a normal edible, but like you can still make edibles out of it, and they're still pretty potent. And God, it just wasn't fun. After you go over 800 milligrams, there's no fun to be had. It's just bad. You're just paranoid and like on your end.
Yeah,
the AVB stuff. I've had that happen to me before. I've been high 16 hours off of AVB.
I have too. I remember doing that when I used to make firecrackers.
Longer.
Yeah,
it's activated. I believe it's
AVB, but it hangs around.
Yeah, yeah.
Like decarbs inside of the vaporizer or something, because you can just eat spoonfuls of it and go to fucking space.
Yeah, it's weird because you don't. And this is, obviously, I think I'm wrong about this, right? But I know I'm wrong about this because I've done it. I think a 500 milligram dose of weed is probably more of a trial than acid, like doing a couple hits of acid, like, because weed, once you get to that high number, like, it gets scary. Like, actually, you're like, this is fucked up. It's scary. And acid, does the same thing.
Acid makes you crazier. No, acid makes you convinced. I think acid gives you more confidence, though. It makes you convinced that you're in control. Like, it makes you think that you're in charge of everything. I feel like a boost of confidence. I feel like I'm losing grip with reality on high dose edibles.
Yeah, yeah. I think the 1 gram.
It's always bad.
I haven't done
it's just always like
forever. But like, I would rather do a high dose acid trip again than I would another high dose, like super high dose weed. Like, I think it like makes you lose too much of like your own sanity, and you like double question shit too much. With acid, like, you just discover new shit. You don't constantly rethink the last thing that you thought.
Yes, that's the weed problem. It's like, there's cancer growing in my stomach. No, there's not. There's not. Stop saying that. I'm just gonna watch this TV show. Oh, there's cancer growing in my stomach. Why watch this TV show? And you're just like, fuck, brain, please stop. We've already went over this. It's like, we've got like 6 more hours of this to go.
Yeah, with the acid, you spiral. With the weed, you just Ouroboros on yourself. You just fuck yourself over entirely.
Yes. Yep.
Weed is the repeat in your ass drug. It is like, it's funny because like John Cullen was super surprised. Well, everybody is when they hear it, but that I did acid the first time when I was 12, right? But I have a way better, more positive memory of the first time I did acid than I do the first time I smoked weed.
Really?
I threw up the first time I smoked weed.
Yeah.
Like in 2 seconds. It was just like I'm high for like a minute and then I'm fucking throwing up, and the people I'm getting high with are making fun of me because I'm throwing up.
Yeah.
It's just a whole fucking thing. And then an older kid, because I was getting high with this older kid, we were like 12, was also stoned, but he was only like 14. So he wasn't like a super older kid, 14, 15 years old. So he also like wasn't handling his weed well. Right. And he just grabbed me by the hair. He didn't slam my head on a table or anything, but he shook my head up and down and said, "I'm so fucking stoned, dude." And like that feeling for the rest of my life, I just think about like that, and also being like, me saying out loud, does anybody else have tunnel vision, and just getting torn apart by a room full of people for saying something like that.
Yeah.
God.
Unfortunate.
Yeah,
I don't even
I'm
remember
surprised
my
I kept
first time
doing it.
weed. I really don't even remember my first time smoking. I was definitely 12, but the only circumstance I remember was it was some older dude at my church, and I caught him smoking weed, and he was like, "Oh, fuck, you're gonna snitch," and I was like, "No, pass it over, I'll try it," because I was stupid and young and wanted to like be cool. And I remember having to sit through the rest of service and like being extremely scared of something, probably like hell or something. But like I couldn't fucking focus on shit. But that's all I remember was just being like vaguely scared.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. If any of the first 20 times I got high happened at a church, I don't know if I'd be religious or if I'd be like a stoner, you know. Like I feel like when you get the kind of high you get the first few times you do it, being at church puts you in a real situation.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. I was raised like a super hardcore church kid, right? Like I was homeschooled. My parents are like super conservative Baptists. Like I still go to a Baptist church because that's like what I do instead of paying rent to my parents. Like that's what I was raised in. So most of my first drug experiences were either in a church or immediately like surrounded by church stuff. My first time doing acid was in the same church that I did weed for the first time in.
Oh man, I want parents that like that's religious parents will do that, man. They'll just be like, "What, you need some money?" And you'll be like, "Yeah, I need some money." And they'll say, "Well, I mean, we'll give you some money if you just come to church with us." You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what we want.
They're trying to turn you
It's
on to the
fucking
Lord, and it's like,
crazy.
yeah.
Dude, my parents are the kind of people who like won't give you shit, right? Like if they know you, like if you're a stranger, they'll give you the fucking shirt off their back because like they think that's what God wants them to do. But if they know you, they won't give you shit. You can be like, please, I haven't eaten in 3 weeks, and they're like, well, should have thought about that. But like now that I'm still living there, I'm like, hey, I'll ride with you up to the church once a week, and they're like, hot damn, you get a full right to stay at our house then. Fuck it.
I mean, that's how I'll say this. I don't know, about your childhood or anything like that, but I will say this. Your parents are the real deal because like I know some people that call themselves Christian, even people that go to church who I don't think care at all if new people come to the church. As a matter of fact, they would be angry if new people started showing up at the church, so they don't tell anybody. They're like, "Fuck you. You're going to go to hell. I don't want traffic on Sunday. I don't want to have to fucking wait in line extra long at the buffet. Like I just, I don't need you."
It's
So
crazy
having somebody
because-
that worries that much about your like soul through Jesus, like having somebody that worries that much about it, it makes them like real believers,
I got some fucking crazy religion stories. I got a fuck ton of them, but no, like worrying about people's souls. The two things that I took away from religion most, right, which is obviously why I'm so hardcore into like leftist anti-fascism and stuff, is I was taught from day fucking one, that I should be ready to die for my beliefs no matter what they are. That like people are coming to kill me for my beliefs and I should be fucking prepared for it because they're like the most fundamental. And the second thing that I learned is that no matter what the situation is, you can always tell people what you believe. And 9 times out of 10, motherfuckers will listen to it. And I like took that hardcore with me throughout my like political journey and like becoming an activist and shit. And those two things have reigned true. I wasn't oppressed then, but now being like a hardcore leftist where I live, like I've been harassed before a number of times for like wearing, lefty shit. And like, I just have to have the same mindset of like, fuck it. If they try to do something stupid, that's on them. I'm just like prepared. And I think that's like, it's really fucked up, but it's really effective at getting people to spread a message,
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and I'll look at it on that side of like, I think that especially for a person who wants to do political organizing or like even wants to understand the people on the other side of politics and stuff, I don't know if there's a better place for leftists to go than church every Sunday, because I mean, we're essentially are kind of battling back and forth with a lot of the conservative. Obviously there are churches that aren't conservative, but I mean our battle is against like the conservative churches basically and the government. But like yeah, that's the other thing is like they always do they do listen to you as long as you're talking about like as long as you're talking about spiritual stuff like ghosts and stuff like that, like the Christian-y kind of stuff, they're willing to hear anything out. They're just willing to be like, okay, so here's why you shouldn't be that. Like they love to tell you like where you're wrong and they're right. And you know, that's probably a bad thing. But I've been in so many conversations with people who know I'm an atheist, who are religious, who are just trying to like catch me in a lie sort of thing, or catch me being like accidentally Christian.
Yeah, no, they still do that shit. I'll tell you what's fucking crazy, right? So when I was in youth, when I was like a younger guy, I had went to this like weekend retreat, and the whole point of it was just teaching you how to make propaganda, right? How to do propaganda. It was just teaching you like how to get people to listen to you, how to like force them into a conversation kind of thing. Really fucked up to do. But something that they taught me that I really took to heart and that I still fucking use is that if you just bother every single person and try to get them to listen to you, then you can hit at least 5 people a day. It's like the statistical average. That if you just bother every person you see and you try to say something, you can get at least 5 people to listen. And like, it works. You can get at least 5 people to listen to you enough that you can convince them of something, you know? Like, I may not be able to convince them of everything I believe, but like, I'll just go bother motherfuckers until like they'll listen to something I have to say, you know?
That's great though, because you're doing that because it's mostly like really most people doing that are the most awful. They're like, can you believe this shit in the news? You know, and then they start saying what a real woman is or something like that, and then you're like, oh no. But if you're bothering everybody, like we should all shouldn't we all be getting along? Should we just accept people for who they are? You know, like in the middle of the laundromat.
Yeah, I'm fucking standing in the laundromat doing my clothes. I'm telling people, I'm like, you know, we should really start like an alliance for like culturally different people here, because like we only have like the main white people. And eventually you get some motherfuckers like, you know what, maybe we should start that, you know? Like,
I'm interested.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is what they have. I mean, it's them and salespeople. And maybe it's the same thing. Like there
That's
are
how
just
sales gets away with it too.
Well, yeah, because also they're like there's people are very different. Like I'm a very different sort of person that is just like I don't fucking hear it. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll say this, like when it comes to sales and shit, not I don't want to hear. I like hearing people talk about religion or whatever. But like yesterday, I wanted to get another pair of glasses because I thought it'd be cool to have 2 pairs of glasses or whatever. So I went to Warby Parker, and I walked in the door, and somebody walked up to me and was like, "All the glasses are there. I'll be out to help you pick one out in just a minute." And I just turned around and walked back out of the door.
Why?
God, I didn't want help. I just wanted to go around and fucking
look.
pick a pair of glasses and then go up. I want to go up to a person and say, I want these glasses. And then they go back and they give me the glasses and then I buy them and I take off, or however it works there, right? And like, I just don't want help ever. And that is like where I'm at when it comes to sales too, right? Is like I go to a place like a car dealership and they fucking always sell me the first car I test out every time. I don't think I've ever test drove more than one car when I went to buy a goddamn car, you know?
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking deal with the car guy. And you have to deal with the car guy. So, like, the ability of salespeople and the ability of again, like religious people and stuff is like, they don't mind dealing with the car guy, the sales guy. They don't mind dealing with me. Like, I couldn't be less hospitable. They don't mind even trying to fucking sell me stuff. You know what I mean? And I think that like that's kind of weirdly like the two types of people.
But what's crazy is a lot of times the first thing we're taught is how to deal with people like you, you know? Because, like, you obviously got that whole sales pitch and the whole propaganda thing. And, like, when you're doing, like, church stuff, they got, like, the Romans Road Salvation they're supposed to show everyone. But, like, the first thing you're taught is, like, if they don't want to listen, then tell them that you're like, all right, whatever, I won't do it. And then you just build a relationship with that fucker. You just, like, talk to them about some random shit that they got on. And, like, they teach you how to, like, pull this fucker in and like build a relationship with him, and then after like 3 years drop your message back on him again. And it's fucking insane. Like, that's some crazy ass manipulator shit, but it works. Like, I can't even deny the fact that it works.
Manipulation for good. You gotta do manipulation for good instead of the Lord.
Yeah, personally, my belief is that, like, you know, we all talk about how much there's like conservatives and like radical fundamentalist Christians and stuff everywhere, and like that's got to have a root cause. So like, use their fucking methods against them. Like, they're willing to teach that shit to anyone who will walk in the door and listen. Just lie to them, you know, like, get their methods and then go use that shit. Is my thought point, you know? Because like, they're gonna keep doing it. We might as well do it to them, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, Bear. Well, hey, thanks for calling in. We're running out of time, but it's always good to hear from you, Bear.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Of course. Before we go, I would just like to say, Brian, the other week you mentioned that you think the bravest thing a man can do is show off his flaccid penis to the public.
Yeah.
And I just got to say that as a Greek man who's like extremely Greek, my flaccid penis is fucking everywhere. It is the flaccid penis. Like, my little bear looks exactly like Michelangelo's David. It's already out there, dude.
I don't know. It would have to look more impressive. I mean, like, it's very hard for me to imagine. Listen, all I'm going to say is what mine looks like. I don't want anybody to see that at all. Not my wife, not anybody.
Not your wife.
I don't know. I don't want anybody to see what my flaccid penis looks like. I don't walk around this house naked. You know what I mean? Ever. And if I'm naked in the same room as my wife, I just don't face her. She sees my ass area.
Oh my God, you just stand with like your hip pointed at her and like talk over your shoulder?
Yeah, I mean, what am I supposed to fucking do? Stand there and talk to her with my penis hanging there?
Put your fist in the small of your back and lean all the way forward. Push your belly out like a damn ape, just scratching his behind.
I don't want to do that. I don't know. I get why maybe sometimes people are like, oh, hey, you know, I don't mind people seeing my penis. As a matter of fact, at the gym, there's all kinds of guys that are just like, I don't care. You know, everybody look at my penis. I don't care. And like, for me, I'm just like, please don't try to decipher an outline in my shorts. Don't at all think about it, because I don't want people to see it when it isn't like all the way there. I want it to be all the way there. You know what I mean? Because that's when I feel my most confident.
Okay.
Like,
you want people to be scared.
Like,
it's a gun pointed out at
me. I mean, when I feel my most confident. Oh, well, somebody in the chat said this, and I'm going to verify it. Yes, I do change clothes in the bathroom after I shower. I bring the clothes into the bathroom. and I put them on in there so that when I walk out, I'm fully formed as the
Yeah.
Brian everybody
I
knows
do
and loves.
not-
But yeah,
I cannot understand that. My flaccid penis is the art penis, and I've been seeing it for years, and mine's been the same for fucking years. Like, I can't even understand where that thought comes from.
I can't even
Like, when I
think
was
ever
really-
about it.
When I was first in high school taking art classes, at first I was kind of like, oh God, that looks like mine. And it's just everywhere, and everyone's staring at it. But then I was like, well, everyone's already staring at it. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, mine doesn't look like that Michelangelo or whatever like that. Mine looks like I don't know, like it kind of I hate to say this, but I'm going to tell you something, okay? It
Yeah.
looks like it's smaller than my balls. That's the thing. That's what I don't think people should see me in that condition. You know? Like that's it kind of crawls up in there. You know what I mean? I'm have a perfectly fine sized penis for everybody that's listening. I'm saying that when it's not ready to go, it looks very small. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine. You're allowed to be a grower.
Yes, that is exactly it. Thank you. And Psychic Gasoline said I live like a visitor at his own house, and
Yeah.
you're not totally wrong about that. Well, Bear, it's good to hear from you. Thanks for calling in.
Oh my God.
Yeah, of course. Have a good one, guys.
Another time, somebody got me talking about my penis on this show.
It's peepus when it's not erect. I mean, only guys care about dicks, man. That's a guy thing. Just don't worry about it. Only guys care about big dicks.
No, I don't think it's that. Is this the last call? Last call?
Yes.
All right, last call.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hello.
Howdy.
Hello.
Oh, hey, how's it going? My name is Nate. How are you guys?
Great. How are you, Nate?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm calling today because I run a meme account page that satirizes CoStar Group, and I'm about to go to court for it.
What? The
Yeah,
CoStar app?
and yeah, CoStar. No, not the astrology app. It's the real estate company or the real estate data company.
Oh, I always thought it was an astrology thing. That's only CoStar I know.
No, that would actually be a lot funnier if I was going to court for an astrology app.
I'm looking. It's here. Is it here? Or am I didn't know? Yeah, it's here. What do you know? CoStar Group is in Columbus.
Oh, they're
The
everywhere.
corporate office. Oh, really? What do they do?
So basically, CoStar is a commercial real estate analytics company. So they basically provide like information on properties to all like major brokerages around the country, and they like provide like loan data and that sort of thing that helps people like assess the value of properties. But basically, I started doing like this meme account page like in December. Just started making fun of their like CEO and their kind of like shady business practices, and then it kind of escalated, and a bunch of people started sending in their stories about how they were been like sexually harassed at the company or how they had been taken advantage of by the company. I just started putting these stories online, and the CEO is a petulant little bitch and got all mad about it, and is like, he fired a bunch of people who followed the account, and he also is once again taking me to court for violating my non-disparagement agreement.
Oh, so you were there? You were working there?
Yeah, I used to work there in I worked there until July of last year. So I was just a former employee making some jokes on Instagram.
What is? I mean, is there really a non-disparagement agreement after you don't work at a place? Because here's the reason I'm saying that to you is I have talked shit about every single one of my old jobs on this show.
Yeah, I
and
know.
on the
This could be
internet.
trouble.
We've said the words, the names of the places we worked at.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the kind of funny thing about it is that like as far as I know, this is like the first time someone's been taken to arbitration for making a memes account, and they're framing it as me violating this non-disparagement clause. But yeah, it's like it's one of those things where like I think you think that it's gonna be one of those things where like you can't like shit talk the company to their customers, not like the kind of thing where you just can't say, oh my god, my old boss was a jackass, here's some jokes about it. But apparently they can take you to court for that, so we're gonna see how it goes.
Holy
Dude,
shit.
I used to disparage people. I disparage. The only thing I haven't done is said names, but I'm willing to say names too on this show. If you want to know who my boss was at places, some of them I don't know their last names for real, but that is scary. So you have a lawyer and everything, you're in court.
Yeah, so currently working on procuring counsel. If anybody has any leads, feel free to send it to me. But yeah, I mean, it's basically they're trying to take me down. They're trying to take me to arbitration for essentially like $1 and lawyers' fees. But what they want is they want the Instagram page taken down. So they're not like suing me for a lot of money. They're basically just suing me so they can get a judgment, so that the arbitrator or judge or whatever can basically tell me to take down my Instagram account, which is insane and feels like a big First Amendment violation.
That is fucking crazy. That I guess maybe there's just not that many co-star group things. You know what I mean? Like there's not that many, like they're probably really just worried about the fact that people are seeing stuff that could end up getting them in trouble, right?
Oh yeah, I mean the thing is that like I mean the arbitration agreement request they sent me basically is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Feel free to check out it's at @CoStar_memes on Instagram. I put the whole arbitration agreement there. Basically they try to like take jokes and try to say that they're like threatening. So they took like I put like the CEO's face on the meme of the girl, who's outside the burning building and kind of smiling back at the camera. I put the CEO's face on that, and they tried to say that I was endorsing arson and property damage against the company, and that was basically like trying to say like that we're trying to kill the CEO or something like that. Which is like, no, these are just like very common meme formats that you guys have tried to construe as if they're actual threats to the company or to its personnel, which is completely untrue because I literally never said that I want anyone at the company to get hurt. I just think that their CEO is an asshole and they should be nicer to their employees.
That is why. I mean, and like I'm looking for it, and most places even get it like sort of. There are some of the memes from your page on Google, but most of them are for the app anyway, where it's like they might as well just fucking let it go. I guess it's weird. These companies, I guess because the CEO is an asshole, he's just like, I'll get this person,
Yeah.
I'll get you.
Yeah.
It's a personal thing, I'm sure at this point.
What are you going to tell him tomorrow?
Oh, completely. Yeah, I mean, the guy just has a vendetta and he's on the warpath, and it's entertaining because this guy is worth, multi-millions of dollars, and everyone literally just wants him to quit because he's like a complete dick and is really into his employees and also is apparently a bit of a sex pest. And he won't do that. He instead, just because he's incredibly vain and self-obsessed, he wants to like, try and fix this somehow. And I don't understand how like no one in the room was like, hey bro, have you heard of the Streisand effect? It's funny because like I literally was kind of like losing traction. There hadn't been a lot of news and the page had been kind of slowing down. And then this article drops on Friday about the fact that the CEO is firing people for following my news page, and I have now doubled my followers in less than 36 hours. And so, like, bro, like, do you not understand like how not to get attention? Like, you just need to shut up and like let this happen. But instead, he's calling attention to it, and now I'm just, it's getting a bigger and bigger profile.
You pissed the guy off. You pissed the CEO of a company off.
Yeah, they never know. They never realize that it's not going to work out for them. You can't just, you're not going to do anything by engaging That's really stupid. He's doing the getting picked on
Objectively
handbook.
insane.
He's basically pulling his own underwear up his own ass crack.
Yeah.
He really is. He's doing all the work now.
Yeah. Now people know about it. Now more
Yeah,
people than
totally.
ever.
Well, how can people get a hold of you if they can help out with law stuff? Is there a way?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. If anybody, you can always slide into my DMs or open on Instagram. It's at costar_memes on Instagram, or you can just email costarmemes@gmail.com if you have any leads. And yeah, I was trying to get more coverage on this because I think the bigger the story gets, the dumber they're gonna look for going through this arbitration agreement. But yeah, any help anybody has, feel free to send my way because it's going to be interesting.
Well, thanks for
Absolutely.
calling. Have fun. I like that.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Peace.
Yeah, peace. Have a good one.
Do. Oh shit.
That's fucking wild.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the eBay guy that got personal, hopefully not like that, but it just they have the money and the resources and they just want to show, they just want to go to bed at night knowing that they spent thousands of dollars to get this person to shut up and they don't have a way to fight back,
Yeah, there are stories about this guy. This guy might have, the meme account might have actually maybe got him in trouble.
Oh no, really?
There's articles. If you Google CoStar, there's an article about how he treats his employees.
Fuck yeah. It's
CEO
working.
Andrew Florence. Uh-oh, now we're in trouble. I'm Googling him.
Scrape our show.
Yeah. Well, that's Street Fight. We did the call-in show, bro.
Thanks for everybody for calling. We appreciate it. Hope you're having a wonderful summer so far. You're not getting burnt to a crisp. Also, I wanted to say thank you to Matt and Ethan again for hosting me at the Indy 500 last week. It was awesome. I forgot to mention that. And I can't wait to go back next year. It was a fucking great race.
Hell yeah.
We'll see you on Wednesday.
We'll see you.